It is the last Friday of November 2024. Good evening and welcome to Newswatch on Hope TV, the station where you look and live. On today's conundrum, we take a look at the disturbing rise of intimate partner violence, also known as IPV in Kenya, which has become an all too familiar narrative in recent headlines. The heart-wrenching reports of violence have left many shaken. Stay tuned as we take a look on that segment on the scars of love towards the end of the bulletin. I'm Tess Njenga and our sign language interpreter is Boniface Mureithi. Let's kick off. The government has reiterated its commitment to ending all forms of violence, including gender-based violence. Addressing the press in Nairobi, government spokesperson Isaac Mwaura noted that the recent escalation of cases of gender-based violence in the country is disturbing. He called on all Kenyans to create a safe environment free for all citizens. Alice Diana with more.
As the global campaign for 16 days of activism against gender-based violence enters its fifth day today, the government of Kenya has emphasized its dedication to ending all forms of violence, including gender-based violence and killing of women. In his weekly press briefing, government spokesperson Isaac Mwaura raised concerns over the recent rise of gender-based violence cases in the country and condemned any form of violence against women and girls and even men.
The recent escalation of GBV cases in Kenya is disturbing, to say the least, with about 97 incidents, reported in the last 3 months alone. These alarming figures highlight the increasing risks of women's safety, not just in their homes, but at their workplace. The government remains committed to addressing GBV and promoting gender inclusion in our society. Our focus is on ensuring women's safety, empowerment, and equal representation in leadership roles as a crucial step towards attainment of the two-thirds gender rule.
Mwaura urged all Kenyans to actively participate in creating a safe environment free from all citizens and demonstrate solidarity against harmful practices.
We can make a significant impact if we speak up and act to ensure that laws against GBV are actually implemented and that no girl born today will have any form of discrimination as a result of gender-based violence or stereotypes that continue to affect our society.
On Wednesday last week, President William Ruto called for swift action by criminal justice actors to hold perpetrators of femicide accountable. In his commitment to protecting survivors, Ruto reassured the public that the government will ensure structures supporting survivors do not re-victimize them, even as he pledged 100 million shillings to fund the Safe Homes, Safe Spaces campaign, which is running during the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence campaign. Alice Diana, Hope TV Newswatch.
Much appreciated, Alice Diana, for that report. Now, the National Council of Churches of Kenya, Kisumu branch, has called upon the national and county government of Kisumu to ensure safety of the locals and residents. The clergy, led by NCCK Chair Dr. Clement Otieno, has condemned thuggery and abduction that has become rampant in Kisumu and other counties, saying it may discourage visitors from other countries.
A security issue, people being abducted, left, right, and center. Yeah, just recently, Bisije was transported back to Uganda, arrested in Kenya. We are told that the people who came introduced themselves as Kenya police, but after being bungled into a vehicle, they turned to be Uganda personnel. Why should we have police who cannot be identified? We know that our police have been given numbers for identification. We know that our police are supposed to be in uniform when they are working for identification. But today, people come dressed funnily, having masks covering their faces, and then they arrest you. You don't know who is taking you. You don't know how long time this should take, and we don't know who is responsible. And this has been a problem because we don't know who to challenge. If the money has been released and the governor is ready to work, we don't understand who is this that is holding the money down.
President William Ruto is in Arusha for the 24th Ordinary Summit of the East African Community Heads of State. The meeting is expected to dwell on the sustainable financing plan of the bloc. The constitution of the Political Confederation of the East African Community will also feature in the two-day session. The summit coincides with the community's marking of 25 years of remarkable progress since its revival. The celebration presents an opportunity to the bloc with a market size of more than 170 million people to take stock of its achievements, challenges, and the future of the integration. Machakos Governor Wavinya Ndeti has fired a warning to senior officials in her government that they will carry their own cross should they indulge in corruption and other malpractices. Speaking after witnessing the swearing-in of new Health Executive Justice Kasivu, Wavinya reminded county ministers and chief officers that they must uphold integrity as they discharge their duties to the citizens. Wavinya reiterated that her government will not abate corrupt practices, noting that the lines for public officers were clearly drawn by the law, procedure, and practice. Wavinya also cautioned members of the public to desist from encouraging corruption.
I wish to reiterate, my government will not abate corrupt practices. The lines of public officers are clearly drawn by the law, procedures, and practices. Should an officer breach these lines, then I shall not hesitate to take administrative and other necessary actions against them. Members of the public must also not be seen to be encouraging these malpractices. The law is explicit. The giver and the taker of a bribe are equally guilty. Health is the greatest wealth our people can find. Provision of quality, timely, and efficient and affordable healthcare service for the residents of Machakos County remains one of my top priorities in my administration. I am now encouraged that Mr. Kasivu is taking over the department at a time I am initiating rigorous reforms in the structures and service delivery. Very soon, I will be rolling out my strategy for re-engineering the health sector in Machakos County. Waziri Kasivu, your interim is already full. One of your first assignments will be steering these reforms to the highest possible standards. You must deliver.
More than 900 students from Iwandai Ward in Sirisia constituency, Bungoma County, are elated after they received birth certificates in a successful exercise carried out by the Deputy Commissioner of West Bungoma and the area Member of Parliament. Bungoma West Deputy Commissioner Abdi Fati says that for a long time, residents have been traveling long distances in search of the important documents. Additionally, he has urged residents to register for SHA to enable them receive health services at affordable prices.
Kupatiana birth certificates ambazo tulisajili wananchi mwezi wa Oktoba, na leo hii nina furaha sana kuhakikisha kwamba tumewakabidhi wananchi birth certificate 965 katika hii area. Hapa ina cover Malakisi Division na Sirisia Division, na hii exercise ilikuwa tumepanga vizuri na leo imefika tamati, ndio tupatia wananchi. Pia katika hiyo hali tuko na birth certificates zingine za Namwela ambazo tutaenda kuwakabidhi wananchi next week. Bila mnavyoelewa, hii ni service ambao tumejaribu kuhakikisha kwamba tunaleta service close to the wananchi. Wananchi walikuwa nahangaika kwenda kuapply hii birth certificate pale Bungoma, wanagharamika mambo ya nauli na nafasi, na sisi tumehakikisha kwamba tumepartner na idara ya birth certificate kuleta hii huduma karibu na wananchi. Ndio unaona leo tunakabidhi hawa wananchi hiyo birth certificates. High birth certificates itakuja kusaidia wananchi in terms of mashule. Kwanza mambo ya capitation, unajua kwamba shule lazima tuwe katika system ya NEMIS, na hii birth certificate ambazo tumekabidhi wananchi leo itahakikisha kwamba watoto wanasajiliwa na shule zote zitaanza kupata capitation. Hapo mbeleni hatukuwa tunapata hii capitation kulingana na namba zetu ambayo ilikuwa chini sana katika hii sub county.
Mkazi wa Butonge, nimefurahi kwa ajili ya siku ya leo nimepata birth certificate kwa njia rahisi. Kwa hivyo heko zangu ni kwa DCC, bwana DCC na mbunge wetu Mr. John Waruke, na washukuru kwa kufanya mpango kama huu. Wakati wa nyuma nilikuwa nikishughulika sana kwa muda mrefu kwa ajili ya kutafuta hii birth certificate, lakini mara hii nimeona nimepata kwa njia rahisi.
Nimefurahia sana kupata birth certificate sababu nimejaribu muda mrefu, lakini nilijaribu si kupata, lakini sasa niko na furaha sababu nimepata. Sasa mtoto wangu ako sawa, tunajua akienda shule.
Religious leaders have been urged to set aside their differences and collaborate closely with the government as the only way to achieve development for the people. Speaking at a women's conference at the Friends Church in Kamabole, Mount Elgon constituency, Jameen Mukwe, the leader of the Friends Church in Chwele, Bungoma County, stated that it would be better if leaders from different denominations worked together with the government to bring unity among the people.
Pahali penye tumefika, inji imeenda kwa nafasi ambayo sio mzuri sana. Na sisi kama kanisa la marafiki and especially Chwele Year Meeting, sisi tunaombea serikali. Tunasema Mungu asaidie, asimame na serikali ili tuwe na amani. Kazi yetu kama waumini, kazi yetu kama wahubiri, kazi yetu kama watu wa kanisa ni kuomba Mungu asaidie inji yetu iwe na amani. Sisi hatuwezi kwenda kusema ama tuseme serikali nafanya na hapana. Kazi yetu ni kuombea serikali na Mungu intervene, Mungu aingilie ili joto ambalo liko la kisiasa lisikuweko. Tunataka inji yetu iwe ya amani. Hata tunapofanya kazi yetu kama hii ya kanisa tufanye kwa amani. Watoto wetu wakienda shule kusoma wasome kwa amani. Hata wale ambao wakulima wanafanya kazi zao kwa mashamba wafanye kazi yao kwa amani. Marafiki wetu wa makanisa mengine, wasimamizi, viongozi na pamoja wala ambao ni wahubiri, wachungaji, tafadhali tuungane pamoja kama kanisa. Sisi hata kama tuko na makanisa mengi, lakini tukisimama tutasema ni kanisa moja. Tunataka tuunge serikali, tukae pamoja, tuweke mikono yetu pamoja, tuunge serikali, tufanyie kazi yetu pamoja na serikali. Serikali ikikataa sisi kufanya kazi kama kanisa, hatutafanya. Naomba wenzangu viongozi wa makanisa mengine tuwe pamoja na tusaidie serikali yetu ifanye kazi ikiwa kwa amani. Tuombee tu amani.
Well, on that note, let us take a short break on Newswatch tonight. We have plenty more coming up after the break.
Oh, yes, you.
Join Debbie Imeli this Sunday for a moment of worship.
All my life you have been faithful.
On Ultimate Worship from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. Repeat from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m.
Yes, the angels cry, holy.
Hope TV, look and live.
Asante, asante, oh, asante kwa fadhili zako.
Welcome back. West Pokot County has received an allocation of over 1 billion shillings for development after being identified as one of the areas left behind in terms of development. Speaking to the media in Kapenguria County, Commissioner Khalif Abdullahi praised the move, urging the county government through the Health Department to use the funds to strengthen and improve health infrastructure in the county. According to the county commissioner, West Pokot County is one of the counties that have been neglected and left behind in development due to challenges such as insecurity, climate change, among other issues.
Therefore, West Pokot County is among the counties identified as marginalized, and it has therefore become a beneficiary of this fund. The county is among the 14 counties that was identified, as I've said, as marginalized in the first marginalization policy. We have a breakdown of the projects that were done within the county. Water was allocated 184,525,000, roads 417 million, health 164, and total approved budget was 726,100,000.
Equalization fund have really done a lot in our county. As we understand, West Pokot is one of the marginalized county, and we have put into use what we received as a county. There is value for money, and most of the projects which was done are the products of the CIDP, which was a document from public participation, whereby our community prioritize what we should be able to do to them.
We were facing the issue of delayed implementation due to delayed funding, but we are glad that so far for Equalization 2, we've been able to receive funds 222 million, which we have disbursed in payments, and we are awaiting 182 million, which will be the second tranche of disbursement, and then we hope that from there we should be able to complete all the projects by December so that we can complete payments by January of next financial year.
As the world observes 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, the National Council of Churches of Kenya, NCCK, has convened a male engagement forum in Embu County. The three-day forum that commenced on Thursday is meant to bring to attention cases of men experiencing GBV that NCCK undeniably said were on the rise in the county. Stakeholders argued that male cases have received less attention than females, with the society being quick to publicly condemn male perpetrators of GBV without according the same treatment to females who victimize men. NCCK Embu County Chair Bishop Stephen Jogu said men have been suffering in silence for long and for a number of reasons, including shame, ridicule, and fear of being perceived as weak or less masculine.
Wanaume wamepigwa, wamenyamaza sana, wengine wamekaa huko ndani hawaongei, na tulikuwa tunasema ya kwamba so many of the times wanaume wanakufia ndani kama thamos. So tumesema now it was an engagement, wanaume waanze kuongea, because mostly inasemekana ya kwamba ni wanawake huwa wanapigwa and they report, and so we are trying to involve men ndio waweze kuwa katika ile hali ya kuchangamka na kuongea.
Wakati kuko na gender based violence, wakati mwingine unakuta production inaenda chini. Mwanzo tuseme ni mama ndiye anadhulumiwa pale nyumbani. Kama mama ndiye anadhulumiwa pale nyumbani, unakuta mara nyingi mambo ya kufua, mambo ya kupika, mambo ya mashamba pale nyumbani iko kwa wamama wakati mwingi. So wakati kunapatikana ile violence, mama huyo akitoka nyumbani inamaanisha ile boma ni kama imebomoka. Kupea watoto chakula, maybe means za kupata chakula zinaenda chini. Kama ni ya man, mwanzo ina affect kwa sababu if a man ndiye anachapwa, ndiye anapigwa, hata kupanga mipango ya kinyumbani pia inakuwa ngumu, na unakuta wakati mwanaume anapitia hii violence, hata yeye mwenyewe anajidharau.
Tamaduni inamzuia mwanaume kuongea kuhusu vita ambayo anapigwa pale nyumbani, na akipigwa pale nyumbani basi ana react na yana perpetrate GBV against women. So ndio community we haina GBV, kikao kimesema ni vyema watu wae na kikao pamoja wakae katika vijiji pale ili waweze kuzuia, waangalie zile mambo zinazosababisha watu kupigana katika jamii kutoka kijiji na kutoka kwenye nyumba haswa.
Indeed, GBV needs to be curbed, not just against women, but against men. And we will be taking a look at that much more on our segment on today's Conundrum, where we will be looking at the scars of love. Stay tuned for that. Now, as the World AIDS Day is celebrated each year on 1st December around the world, communities, governments, civil society, the private sector and the global health partners have worked together to make extraordinary progress in the fight against HIV. Speaking to Hope Media ahead of AIDS Day celebration, program coordinator from Untold organization Lydia Korir says that in efforts to fight new infections, men should also be empowered, as the girl child has been on the forefront, leaving the boy child behind. Dolly Marie Gimbovi now reports.
The first case of HIV in Kenya was detected in 1984. By the mid-1990s, HIV was one of the major causes of illness in the country, putting huge demands on the healthcare system as well as the economy. Kenya will join the rest of the world on Sunday, 1st December 2024, to celebrate World AIDS Day. Kenya has since recorded significant strides in combating the HIV/AIDS epidemic, as evidenced by the recent reports and statistics that highlight improvement in prevention, treatment, and overall health outcome for those affected by the virus. The World AIDS Day Report 2023 from the Ministry of Health elaborated the progress made in HIV epidemic, citing accessibility to HIV prevention and treatment interventions. There are 1,377,784 Kenyans living with HIV in 2023, with 57% coming from 10 counties, namely Kisumu County 128,091, Nairobi County 124 and 609, Homa Bay 120 and 600, in Siaya County 96,297, Migori County 76,053, in Nakuru County 57,635, Mombasa County 50,656, Kakamega 48,733, Kiambu County 45,917, and Kisii County 42,210. This year's World AIDS Day theme is to promote the well-being of men and boys, according to Lydia Korir from Untold organization, which is a Christian organization. They seek to embrace and equip people to live a life beyond the virus.
You realize that in Kenya, basically in Africa, we are a very patriarchal society. Like the men are the leaders. The women are expected to be behind men. The men are the leaders of the societies. They are expected to take the role. With stigma related or associated to HIV and AIDS, our men are taking a back seat. Generally, the girl child has been empowered so much that today the boy child seems to have been left behind. So in our efforts to prevent new infection, to fight HIV and to eliminate HIV probably by 2030, we need to bring men on the forefront.
Many people living with HIV continue to face high level of stigma and discrimination. These deter many people living with HIV, particularly vulnerable groups, from seeking vital HIV services. The church, however, has been called upon to kill this silent menace that takes a toll on most of the people living with HIV.
As an organization, we embrace. So we know before we embrace you, we cannot equip you. So first, we accept you as you are. We accept you without seeing your status. We help you to accept yourself, so that you deal with your own internalized stigma. Once we've taken you out of internalized stigma and you are empowered, then we equip you to live life beyond AIDS. Why do we say life beyond AIDS? As Christians, we believe there is life after death. So after suffering, after going through HIV and AIDS, after being equipped and being empowered here on earth, every one of us will die one day. After death, where do you go? So the church has a big role to play. You need to help these people to connect back to their maker. You need to love on them. You need to support them.
Dolly Wiriki for Hope TV.
And in business, farmers in Nyandarua County are set to reap big in fruit farming courtesy of the county administration. The county government has launched apple fruit farming, a crop that is viewed to be profitable in terms of fruit production and addressing negative effects of climate change. According to Governor Moses Kiarie Badilisha, the county administration seeks to ingest 26 million shillings for capacity building and promotion of the apple fruits. He has called on farmers in the region to embrace the new venture, which he terms as a green gold in the region that is known as a food basket, especially horticultural crops and vegetables.
Wabogo Epo, Oscar Orchards wako hapa pamoja na pale partners wengine ambao tumekuwa tukishirikiana kufanya siku hii iwe vile ilivyo. Kwa hivyo watu ya Nyandarua mnajua sisi tunajulikana kwa viazi, tunajulikana kwa mimea ile mingine, lakini imefika mahali tukaona viazi yetu tukikuza tunaikulia hapa hapa. Viazi yetu haiwezi kwenda kule nje, hatuna market ya viazi kule nje. Kwa hivyo soko ikiharibika ama climate iwe mbaya, wakulima wetu wanaenda hasara sana. Na ndio tumeona leo tuwe na mmea ambao unaweza stahimili hata hali ya anga mbaya, na pia mmea ambaye matunda yale tutatoa tunaweza kuuza kule katika nchi za nje.
Tumepata hii miti for 35 countries, si countries, the farthest one ikiwa Caribbean. Na wakati tulikutana na governor na tukasikizana, Wambogo Apples arudi nyumbani, na tunakushukuru sana Your Excellency kwa sababu umekubali Wambogo Apples irudi nyumbani, na nitataka kuahidi wale watu wote watakaopanda hii miti ya Wambogo Apples, market yote na off taking ni sisi tutanunua. Hakuna haja ati utarudi kwa governor kumuuliza soko iko wapi. As long as unajua mahali tulipo, sisi tuta off take kila tuta yote utakayopanda, sisi wenyewe tutanunua.
Absa Bank Kenya has concluded a series of empowerment forums in the Mount Kenya and Northeastern regions, providing 1,000 small and medium enterprises, SMEs, I beg your pardon, with a platform to engage and network with industry leaders and to learn about financial solutions to enable sustained business growth and resilience. Absa Bank Kenya held business club meetings with entrepreneurs from Isiolo, Meru, Garissa, Thika, Nyeri and Murang'a, providing them with access to information, access to sustainable finance, to markets, and coaching and mentorship. The mentorship sessions focused on the economic activities in the region, including agriculture and trade. Speaking during the forum in Murang'a, Absa Bank Kenya head of SME Erastus Muthura highlighted the bank's commitment to empowering SMEs.
Our women here, they have learned a lot on how they can benefit in terms of access to information, access to market, access to market linkages, and also access to digital information on how they can be able to empower their businesses. We also appreciate that women, they face unique challenges when they are doing their businesses. I'm glad because Absa Bank, with its understanding and wisdom, they'll be able to come up with the solutions that are geared, that are shaped or that are driven into support women in their businesses as they face unique challenges, and especially here in Murang'a, whereby it's a rural county, but we have women who are very entrepreneurial, and Absa is ready to work with them to help them to do their businesses well, and especially the challenges, the legal issues, the succession planning. Absa have developed a package that is really our women have learned on that, and I'm pretty sure that our women in Murang'a, they will no longer suffer in terms of loss of their effort.
Most traders, even in the markets, are actually women. And when you empower women, you empower so many people directly and indirectly, because women have a certain capacity of even wanting and agreeing to start small. In ABSA, we tell great stories, and we say there are no small or big stories. There are inspiring stories in ABSA that are created. And I believe out of today's engagement, we will have great, awesome, fantastic stories that are going to arise out of our expertise, out of our networks, out of the talents that we have, our capacities, our social networks, and our abilities. ABSA was the first bank in Kenya to start banking on women and banking the women and bringing together women in banking.
Now, on today's conundrum, we take a look at scars of love when love goes sour. How do we tackle the intimate partner violence in Kenya? The disturbing rise of intimate partner violence, known as IPV in Kenya, has become an all too familiar narrative in recent headlines. The heart-wrenching reports of violence have left many shaken. In a very recent case, Christine Gesare, a 20-year-old woman, was tragically stabbed to death by her lover in Nyeri. Just a week earlier, Elias Mutugi brutally attacked his ex-partner Florence Wanjiku, stabbing her 18 times, leaving her fighting for her life in hospital. The questions that inevitably arise in the wake of such tragedies is: what happens to lovers who once shared affection but have in the recent past found themselves turning to violence and ultimately murder? The statistics surrounding intimate partner violence in Kenya are alarming. According to the Kenya Demographic and Health Survey, an alarming 45% of women in Kenya have experienced physical or sexual violence from an intimate partner during their lifetime. This number is exacerbated by reports from the National Crime Research Center, which highlights the rising incidence of murder as a direct result of intimate partner disputes. In 2022, a study by the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, DCI, revealed that over 500 cases of intimate partner killings had been reported, with the majority of victims being women. This disturbing pattern indicates an escalation of what often begins as emotional or physical abuse. Intimate partner violence is not just a personal issue, but is also a societal one. The government and society at large must play a role in addressing this growing crisis. First, there is a need for education and awareness programs that teach people about the warning signs of abuse, as well as the importance of healthy communication, mutual respect, and emotional well-being in relationships. The government must prioritize the strengthening of laws that protect victims and hold abusers accountable. In addition to legal measures, mental health support services are essential. Programs that promote emotional regulation, anger management, and therapy for both parties could be a preventative measure. While external interventions are vital, couples themselves play a central role in preventing intimate partner violence. Healthy relationships require open communication, emotional support, and respect for each other's boundaries. Couples should prioritize mutual understanding, emotional intimacy, and resolving conflicts in a non-confrontational manner. It is time to reshape the narrative around love and relationships in Kenya. No one should ever have to fear for their safety in a place that should be filled with trust and affection. The fight against intimate partner violence is ongoing, and it is one that we must all engage in, because the cost of inaction is simply too high. And that is today's conundrum. And it's a wrap on Newswatch tonight. On behalf of everyone who has made this bulletin a success, thank you for watching. I'm Tess Njenga, and our sign language interpreter is Boniface Murithi. God willing, see you next week. Have a good night.